We're live. Hello and welcome to
Yeah,
the Sports Tech
ano-
podcast.
another start, which is at a weird hour.
Another start. We thought we'd
4:17.
start early today because we've got a lot to do today. So we're starting early. So if you don't tune in
No,
live
you've got a
because
lot to do.
I've got a lot to do. Okay. If you can't tune in live, it will be on YouTube, so you can watch back at the recording. So we have got a lot to get through. Bit of basketball because basketball started. Bit of a controversial topic, so we'll discuss that one.
Yep. By the way, I'm not
But we'll
ignoring you. I'm just keeping an eye on something I was looking at before because we got live early. And I was just looking at,
it's not your
you know
best,
me,
is
I've
it?
always got like 12 things going on.
um, but we'll start a little bit with the Paralympics. I don't know if you caught any of it.
I haven't
No.
caught up with the Olympics yet, so what chance have I got with the Paralympics?
Well, I saw some of it. I did see some, and I have to say, I am truly amazed by some of these athletes. Given their disabilities and stuff like that, what they can still do is
Mhm.
amazing. So I watched the archery, and there was a young lady, not from the UK, who had no arms and was doing archery with her feet. It was just incredible to watch. And she did very, very well. And you just think, not only do these people have these disabilities that obviously affect them physically in everyday life, the mental the mental strength that these people have to overcome that and also excel in a sport, it's just, I'm in awe of them. I really am in awe of them.
Well, first of all, you're quite right. I haven't seen any of it. I want to lift that up there. That might be better for our one viewer that he doesn't have to put up with my face with the turkey neck. Um, I look. I don't know if this is right or wrong because I would be classified as an able-bodied human being. But I think if you lose either one of your senses, the others are heightened because you're lacking in one.
Yeah,
Um, I think if you're, and I don't know, but I'm guessing, if you maybe have a limb missing, maybe the psychological barrier once you overcome the fact, because some of them lose limbs, you see some of them athletes and maybe they lost, say, here forearm or something,
yeah,
where when they were children they obviously had a hand on the end of their arm, so that's a different disability to maybe being born without having had it in the first place.
yeah.
um, but nowadays you've got athletes who've got no legs who run with those sort of bendy, sort of, well, they look like bits of metal or something,
Yeah,
bendy,
I want to
flexed
say
metal.
splints, but they're not called splints, are
No,
they?
I'm not too. Yeah,
Blades. They're called blades.
yeah, but they're not really blades because for me, blades are what people skate on. They're blades.
Yeah, I know.
But whatever they want to, what their real names are and what they got nicknamed at. But when you find these athletes with these disabilities, maybe part of their brain overcomes and adapts, because I think that's what, as humans, we do in life anyway. We overcome to adapt, or we have to adapt to overcome. Whichever way you look at it, that's how life is.
Mm.
Um, so maybe these athletes who are in these situations have better abilities at being able to do that and coping with the stress. I do agree with you. I did. Somebody sent me a thing with the guy who was doing the high jump, and he's got one leg and a crutch to get to his sort of starting position, and then he threw the crutch away and he hopped on one leg and then did a Fosbury flop over it. And I thought to myself, bloody hell, he went further than I can on two legs. And I just thought that's amazing. So that was the only thing I've seen. But no, I haven't watched it. Like I said to you, I didn't really watch the Olympics either. I'm having a bit of a meltdown lately with what I'm watching. So
Oh,
I've not been watching any sport. I hardly watch the TV at all,
oh, you've
honestly.
just been so busy.
That well, you saw the picture of the shed I've been building, so of Philip, my neighbour. So that, I think it's quite impressive, isn't it? If I'm honest,
Very well done.
Yeah, what
Very
happened
well
there?
done. Huh?
What just happened there?
Nothing?
I am now completely black.
Oh, you're frozen at my end.
What? Kate, what's happened here then?
I don't know. Is it your camera or
No,
your
my camera's
internet?
on. Hold on. Okay, I have no idea what just happened there.
1 second. Okay, so now it's just like a black screen, so I can't see you at all. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, oh, we've lost Steve. Not too sure what's happening there, but we have lost Steve. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin us. Otherwise, we might have to end very, very early. Let's give him a few minutes, see what happens. Shall I talk about the basketball? I can do that by myself. So basketball season has started, and Milton Keynes Breakers had their first game on Saturday. It was a pre-season friendly against the Essex Rebels. Oh, 1 second. Are
I,
you back?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, you froze, and then the screen went black, and I thought, oh, maybe your connection's gone.
No, I have no idea what happened.
Oh, bizarre, bizarre. I was just talking on my own
Yeah,
then about the basketball because that's the one thing I can do on my own.
yeah, you can do, but our one viewer probably thought, "Oh, thank God he's gone," so you could have carried
So carry on. We were talking about the Paralympics, weren't we?
Yeah, as I say, I've seen next to nothing. I've seen a little bit of cricket and hardly any football. In fact, I probably watched more NFL last night, 5 hours of it, than I have of the football season. I haven't seen anything. I missed the England game at the weekend because I never knew what time it was on. So yeah, I missed everything. That's kind of how it is at the moment. I'm not paying any attention
Um,
to it. It's terrible.
well, that happens sometimes, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
So tell us about
Um,
what else was going on in the Paralympics?
so I was just saying, England did very, very well. I think they finished second or third on the table, the medals table, and it was they got more
Oh, is it
medals
finished now?
this para. Yes, it's finished now.
All right.
They got more medals in this Paralympics than in Tokyo, so they did really well this time round.
Well, great. I hate to sound like I'm sort of. It's gone. This last couple of months have gone.
A lot on your plate
Just
as it goes.
yeah. I hate to say it. For someone who's supposed to be interested in sport, I have missed so much. I think the problem is I realise I've got more and more selective as I've got older,
Yeah, it could be that.
and I seem to
Could be
care
that.
less and less about what I'm watching.
Yeah.
So honestly, I've seen one Spurs game live that was on the telly. Well, I didn't go to the game, but I've hardly seen any of the football at all. And really honestly, I haven't really
That was
missed
it.
it. I haven't
Well, it's
really
a good
missed
job
it
I've
either.
been keeping an eye on things then, isn't it?
I kept an eye on the cricket,
Well,
which
you're
we managed
finishing
to
on that
lose.
one.
I know
Oh,
that.
okay. We'll get to the cricket. So,
Go on, or the
okay, so I was just
basketball or the thingy. Go on then.
yeah, so just a quick recap of the basketball. So it was the first game of the season. It was a pre-season friendly against the Essex Rebels. Now the Essex Rebels finished second in D1, so a very, very strong team. And they came down to Bletchley Leisure Centre to play the Breakers, who are a brand new team. I mean, there's only three that's come back from last season. Everybody else has moved on. So it was their first real game and real test playing together as a team.
Yeah.
Really good game. Very, very good game. It could have gone either way first three quarters. There was a point or two in it. And the lead kept sort of flip-flopping between the two teams.
Hmm.
So really close, couldn't have called it at the end of the third. And then fourth quarter starts, and the Breakers had just did some really great defensive plays, completely shut out Essex Rebels. And they ended up winning 75-54, I think it was. So yeah, really, really good
Quite
win.
a comprehensive win then.
Well, yeah, I mean, the scoreline doesn't reflect the actual game. It doesn't reflect all four quarters. It
Yeah.
was literally that fourth quarter that the Breakers sort of pulled away and just defended well, really, and went down the other end and managed to get their baskets. So it didn't reflect the game at all, but it was very good. If you're a neutral, it would have been a really good game to watch, you know.
Mm.
So and a low scoring game that shows you how good each
Well,
team
both
was. You
defences
know, it
would have
was
been good. Yeah.
yeah,
Or both
yeah.
attack,
So
score,
very
and shoot
good.
properly, one of the way, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, and I think
Hmm.
promising for the Breakers. Like I say, we've only got three retained from last season, so you know that's a lot of new players in there that need to fit in, that need to
Gel.
figure each other out and things like
Mm.
that. So really good, couple of good names in there that stood out yesterday. So hopefully they'll keep that up. It's a double header on at the weekend, so it's the Kitkin Trophy. So they're up going up north somewhere.
Up north
Just
somewhere. We know with your geography they could be in blinking Wales.
No, I did actually Google Maps it, and it's somewhere just past Manchester.
Somewhere just past Manchester.
Yeah, I can't remember
Well,
where.
Preston's not too far from Manchester. That's where my daughter and wife were yesterday for the last couple of days.
Oh, I don't know if it's Preston. I don't think it's Preston. I want to say Bradford. Is that just past Manchester? No?
It's near Leeds.
Is that just past Manchester? Stop! Is that not past? Where is
Manchester's
it?
northwest. Leeds is north.
Oh, well, it's just past Manchester when I
Right,
Google
you've got
Maps
this
it.
thing in the middle of the country. I don't know about geography and you, right? But there's a place called the Pennines. You ever heard of it?
I've heard of it.
It kind of runs like a spine through England, yeah? So you
Oh,
either live
right.
on one
Okay.
side or the other. The left hand side is the Manchester Lancashire side, and the right
Right.
hand side is Leeds Yorkshire side, yeah?
Okay. Well, on
So
Google
one
Maps,
side's the
Manchester's
M6 and
here.
the other side's the A1.
Okay, Manchester's here on Google Maps, and it was just up here, so I don't know where that is.
Well, look, it could be Bury, Oldham, Bury, I don't know, somewhere. Look, I'm not saying I don't know where things are in Manchester, but if you don't know the name of the team they're playing against, they
I
could be
can't
playing
remember.
Coggeshall Athletic for all I
Oh,
know.
anyway, they're going
That's near
up
Manchester
north.
as well.
They're going up north for the Kit King Trophy on Saturday, and then on Sunday they're at Bletchley
I'm
Leisure
going to have a
Centre.
look now to see
You'll
if
have to have a look. Go and have a look. Um, but Saturday, the Breakers women's team are playing,
have they got a
so
women's
I'm
team.
going. Sir?
I didn't know they had a women's team.
Yeah, they do for this season. So I'm going to watch the Breakers women's team. They are in a friendly against the Hemel Storm ladies.
Well, we know
Again,
where
another
Hemel
really
is, don't we?
that's down there. Yeah, no, because I've been there. It's down that way.
Uh, uh,
It is.
yes, it is south of you. Not very
It's down
far, but it is south. Right, I'm just letting you know. I'm trying to find the 2024 fixtures. I don't know where their Breakers fixtures are. 2024-25. Yeah, hold on. I don't know whether we're online with this yet.
we are.
Uh, okay, 24-25. Right. I should save this just to have a giggle. I don't know. There's a guy here called Jaguar Jackson.
Yes, there is. Somebody called Jaguar Jackson.
Oh, that Blaine Freckleton. He looks like Mark Cucurella.
That's him. He's captain now, by the way.
Oh, is he? Right,
Yes, he is.
let's have a look at the fixtures. Why is it I can't find the fixtures? Men's team. I've got
Bristol.
what?
Bristol?
Bristol? That's near blooming Wales. That's what I said. If anybody watches this program for sport, I guarantee you they're wasting their time. If they're watching it about how not to do geography of the UK, that
There you
is
go.
how to talk to you. Bristol
Can you
is
see it?
West, darling.
Oh, you can't see it. Oh,
I
look.
can't see that, yeah, because it's just because you've got some dopey background behind you.
Can
Makes
you?
you look
Oh,
like you
okay.
actually work in
They're
an office
playing Bristol Hurricanes.
in Bristol.
Is that not near Manchester then?
No, it
Oh, okay.
Bristol's on the M4, and if you fart,
Right.
you're in Wales.
Ah, okay. What?
Yes,
If you what?
from Bristol
Oh,
to
no, no. Hold on. One moment.
my
No,
memory caller.
they're playing Bristol on the Sunday at thingy. So they're not playing Bristol.
Well, they are playing Bristol, but they're not playing them on Saturday. So where are they going on
Not
Saturday?
playing it on Saturday. That's right. They're
Right.
playing.
I'm, oh, here we go. Fixtures Saturday. There we go. Uh, they're playing City of Birmingham Rockets on the 14th and the 9th.
Oh, Birmingham. That's near Manchester? Stop.
They must have moved Birmingham overnight.
Right, hold on. Here
Seriously.
we go.
Right,
Look, here we
darling, you
go.
know
Look,
where you
Group
live?
1 fixtures. Here
Right,
we are.
I've got 'em,
Look.
I've got 'em, I've got the fixtures. So you know where you live? For our viewers that don't understand where Milton Keynes is, it's regarded as the centre of the UK. So Milton Keynes is basically on the M1 at
Yes,
junction
Bristol.
15, 16, 15, 14, 15. So if you
No,
stay on
that's
the M1 for another 15, 20 minutes, you'll come to where it joins the M6, and that goes to Birmingham.
so that's near Manchester.
No, that's like saying you're near me. I'm 30 miles from you. Birmingham from
Oh,
Manchester's about 75 miles, 80 miles.
oh, okay. All right. Well, wherever they're going up north, um, they're playing City of Birmingham Rockets on the Saturday, and then on the
Yeah.
Sunday, they're home at Bletchley Leisure Centre against the Bristol Hurricanes.
Mm.
And that's both games are part of the Kit King Trophy.
But I have got some good news for you.
They've
They
moved
will be
Birmingham
playing
closer to
against the
Manchester.
Bradford Dragons on the 12th of October. And guess where Bradford is?
Near Manchester.
No.
Oh,
It's next to Leeds.
I don't care where these places are. Doesn't matter. That's why we have sat navs. You don't need to know where they are. You just
Anyway,
need to know how to get there,
I
right?
just would like to tell you that I've had a phone call whilst I was blacked out. And it's from the Institute at Milton Keynes University asking me whether you'd like to have a doctorate in geography. So so I said it would be very advisable if you've got a postcode she can find, because there's no chance if you just tell her it's somewhere near Manchester, she'll go over there and it could be anywhere else.
Well,
Oh
I
dear.
always have a look at the maps first, and
I
then you
know.
put it in
Do
your
we have
sat
any
nav.
viewers left, by the way?
Probably not now. They've probably all gone to Manchester for the game.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Anyway, I must say your
Yes.
basketball reporting has been, as usual, top draw. And in fact, if you're looking for a job with the BBC, one of the
Okay.
issues they've got is
So shall
this.
I tell you? I'll tell you something funny, right? So Saturday I went down and I commentated on the game, but I was working, so I had to shoot down after work.
Yeah.
So of course, because we've got all these new players, I don't really know who's who. So it was like I was playing bingo. like number
Bingo.
10, number 9, number 5, number 4, you know. Oh, and Blaine Freckleton's got the ball. I knew that one.
So, do you know
So,
the difference between Kai Williams and Troy McIndo?
yeah, their names.
So one's black and one's white. That might be a slight giveaway if it doesn't help. Troy is
Are you
6 foot
sure?
9.
Oh, yes, I remember seeing him. Yes, I remember seeing him.
Kai's only 6 foot 6.
Yeah, that's quite short, isn't it?
What, 6 foot 6?
I was joking. I was saying
All right.
sarcastically.
Blaine is very small. He's only 6 foot 1.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, I would get in this team because I'm 6 foot 4, but I would not be the tallest by a long way.
not by a long
Six,
way.
six foot
So I
nine is
did
quite.
manage to interview a couple of, well, one of the new players, a guy called Temi.
Yeah,
Um, and he had a very good game. So it was very nice to manage to speak to a couple of
Temmie
the new
George.
guys. Temi George, that's
Yeah,
right.
number 1, Temmie
Uh,
George.
and Adrian Scarborough got MVP for the
Yeah,
game.
he's
He
number
played very,
4.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
He
going to see
comes,
the
he comes
women
from a place called Raleigh. Do you know where that is?
near Manchester.
He's
I
from the
don't know.
USA. He's from the USA.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Raleigh?
Right. Blimey Raleigh.
No, not that. Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Raleigh. Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Not Raleigh. That's Rally.
No,
Raleigh.
like the rally bikes. Railgh.
Uh, what? Don't tell me you can't do English as well as geography, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Raleigh. They're called Raleigh bikes. If you call them rally bikes, that's because it's badly pronounced. It's Raleigh. But anyway,
Okay.
Raleigh is North Carolina.
Ah,
North
okay.
Carolina. You know that song?
Uh, Bride. Yes.
Right. Well, that's North Carolina. That's the that's
Okay.
the that's the international airport in North Carolina.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway,
There we
so
go.
that's the geography lesson for the day.
Yeah, so that's the roundup of the breakers. I'm looking forward to seeing the women's team,
Mm.
and meeting the women's team coach because
What
haven't
division are
had a
the women
chance.
in?
I don't know actually. I don't know what division they're going to be in.
So
Um,
the fellas are in the second group, yeah.
no, they're in D1 now.
But so did they go up? Didn't they?
They did, yeah, they got promoted, so they're in D1.
Is D the best one?
Yes, for the semi-professionals, yes. And then
Right.
you go into the BBL, which is all the franchise pro teams.
Okay. So the D one. Okay, fair enough. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And the girls you don't know
Um,
yet.
I don't know yet. But like I say, when I speak to the coach, hopefully he'll be able to fill us in when
Is it a
their
male
fixtures
coach or is it
start.
not? It might be a female coach.
No, it's a male coach.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it is a male coach. So
And do they play the same length of time?
yes, they
Do
do.
they? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know
So
that.
their tip off at Bletchley Leisure Centre is at 3:30 against the Hemel Storm ladies.
Hmm.
So if you're not going to make the game for the men's team, which is
Will you go
in,
in and watch the ladies and then stay for the men's?
well, no, because it's an away game for the men on Saturday, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay. No, but
And
if
it's
they were
so
both at
far.
home, if they're both at home, could you go to one and stay for the other one?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you could. I don't know, but I imagine you should be able to. Whether they charge differently for the tickets because it's two games, I don't know
Hmm.
because
That's what
we'll
they
have
do
to
with
see
the
when that.
cricket when they have the men playing. You know, the 100. They do the women's game in the afternoon, obviously, because
Right.
more people
Yeah.
finish work after 5. So and the men's cricket's
Yeah.
a bit better.
But it will be interesting to see how many people turn up about the ladies.
Hmm.
I don't think it's been well advertised, to be fair.
So you could
So
be commentating all by yourself.
I do anyway on
No, but there
all of
might only
them.
be 4 supporters there with
Yeah, literally, there could just be maybe family and friends.
hmm.
If it's not
Okay.
being advertised very well, and I haven't seen anything for it, advertised.
That's
So
not good because they need to do that. They need to give the
I
girls
agree.
support. You know,
Agree. It needs to be out there a lot more.
it
So
does because I know. Look, I get it that it's a small place and you know, the Breakers have done very well. The men's team and obviously to get a women's team up, it's not going to have the same
mm,
maybe impact, but because
they
it's not.
haven't even announced
Yeah,
any
it's
of
not the
the
biggest female sport. Let's be fair. So you know
I know, but they haven't
that's
even
quite
announced
tough.
any of the women who have signed for the team. Like with the men's, they were banging out announcements when they were signing a
Um,
new player, but they haven't done it at all with the women's.
no, I'm just well. I was trying to see if it was a list of women's thing here, but I've got the fixtures, um, but I haven't got any. I haven't got any women's stuff here yet. I'm
Right.
just scrolling through it. So Kit King Trophy. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Haven't seen anything yet. Um, anyway, I'll have to have a look at that. So
Yeah.
your
So I'll find out
basketball's a
on
bit
Saturday.
quiet, and we've
Sorry?
had the Paralympics. That's finished.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got the Premier League underway, which is going to be another boring year because three teams are going to be in the top four and everyone else is playing for fourth. The bottom
Mhm.
six are pretty well guaranteed to be the three promoted clubs: Everton because they're rubbish, Forest because they'll struggle, probably Palace with them as well. So we kind of know the bottom six. We know the top six. It's That's probably why I've lost a bit of interest, if I'm honest with you.
Bit
Um,
predictable.
yeah, um,
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I've said it for years. You're going to get you're getting a breakaway within the Premier League by definition. That the top 8 or 10 sides have all the money, and they're going to be always in the top 8 or 10. Might have a one
Mm.
bad season, but they won't go down. And you'll end up having. I mean, they'll end up with Premier League One and Premier League Two. I should imagine, um, because
Yeah, possibly.
see the way I look at it on this, and I understand it is all money. Okay, let's get this clear. It's all money, yeah. But when I'm refereeing at grassroots football, I look around and I do think that some of the places I referee at, considering what they might have been like 40 years ago or 30 years ago when they had no funding at all, is certainly a hell of a lot better. But when you're looking at professional football and you look at the Premier League, and you know, I'm not trying to be, I'm not being snidey or anything towards any other club, but Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, West Ham, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, probably Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, those 10 sides are pretty well going to be the top 10. Now,
Mm.
if you have a league that you're coming up from, the gulf between the Premier League and the Championship over the last 5 years has got wider and wider and wider, and it will continue to widen. And what you've got is you've got all the teams coming up, and basically they're hoping and praying that they'll survive one season in the Premier League for the next instalment of money. But if you look at the Championship, because so many of those teams have been in the Premier League in the last 5 years, that league itself is very difficult to get out of because there's so many teams. It's much of a muchness. But
Mm.
when you compare them coming up, however good people go, oh, look how good our team is this season. Yeah, you've got 90 points in the Championship, but you can't get 30 points in the Premier League. So the gulf is too big. And as I say, it's going to get wider. So
Yeah.
why not have the top 16 sides in the Premier League and you have Premier League One and Premier League Two, which is the next 16 teams. So you've now got 32 teams. And then the remaining 60 teams, you now have you have League of 20, which reduces their fixtures. But more importantly, instead of doing it where you've got, and it does happen, you've got a team like Exeter. Now, nothing against Exeter, but you've got a team like Exeter who schlap all the way up to somewhere in Yorkshire or further to play an away game on a Tuesday night in the pissing rain and they've got 5 supporters there or 30 supporters there.
Mm.
It's not worth their while going to do that game because
Yeah.
there's no money in it for them. So why not have a southern third, a middle third, and a northern third?
Mm.
20 teams, you've got 38 games a season. They've got their Mickey Mouse League sort of whatever, Johnston's Paint Trophy or whatever they call it anyway. You can have a proper playoff system. So you end up with, you know, more teams have got more chance to be earning that extra money at the end of the season. What you're then giving is the Premier League, you are going to have to say to the Premier League sides, right, we realise that the bottom, and I don't want to be rude, but your Fulhams and your Crystal Palaces and what have you, who sort of hover around 14th to 8th, 12th to 16th every season. Yes, they are going to struggle a bit in the Premier League one. I get that. I do get it. But at least the gap might close a bit because you've got sides that are playing or have been in the Premier League for a while, and therefore they might have had a bad year. And therefore, if they go down, you've kind of maybe have 2 up, 2 down rather than 3 up because I think it's too many if I'm really honest with you. But if you have to do 3, the problem you'll get 1 promoted from the south, 1 from the middle, 1 from the north to go into Premier League 2, if you like. And that could be quite a jump. So you have to kind of find a happy medium.
Mm.
Maybe you could bring in the National League because I don't believe that half the teams in the National League aren't as good as half the teams in League Two. So maybe you've got
Yeah.
80 teams and
Yeah.
you could have four. You could then have 4 groups of 20, and the top 4, whoever wins ends up, or the top 2, let's say whoever gets whatever it is, they go into Premier League 2. I know it's going to be a jump, and they might struggle with it, but at least it's not jumping straight to Premier League 1. And you have to
Yeah.
look at that. It's tough, but you have to give, or maybe you have a Premier League 1, Premier League 2, and like a Championship, which is the next 20, and then the remaining sides. So you've got 60 sides, let's say, and they're in the 3 divisions, sort of north, middle, and south. Because I don't believe for one moment that a team that's in the National League who's 6th or 7th can't play in League 2. And if they've got harder fixtures against what's currently League 1, they're only going to have the bottom sides from League 1 effectively in that pool to start with. So I think that would be the way I'd go. And I think you have, excuse me, far less travelling, fewer expenses, better chance of clubs not going out the league because, when they have to waste, I don't know, a 1,000 mile round trip and they're not earning their minus from doing the game. They've got to pay their players, they've got to pay the stewarding, whatever, the coaches. They're losing money hand over fist. So,
Mm.
they're only praying for a good FA Cup run to get them out of trouble. So
Mm.
I think this would be the way I would go. I think it makes it fairer for everybody. I think the fans as well. If I was a fan of a team, I'm lucky. I support a team that's always in the Premier League. I support a team that I can get to, an hour away, let's say. But from where I live, I can be in Birmingham in about an hour. I can go and watch maybe Ipswich is just over an hour and a half to Ipswich. That sort of time to travel for a game is reasonable.
Mm.
5, 6 hours to go to watch a team, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours even sometimes. It's too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
So that would be my way forwards. I think the Premier League's got to a stage now that's just the way it's going to go. Whether it's in my lifetime or not, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I imagine that's the way it will go. It just seems it's daft. You've got teams in the Premier League who literally have no chance ever of being. They're not going to be in Europe. When's Fulham going to be
Yeah.
in Europe, or when's Crystal Palace going to be in Europe?
Yeah.
And that's
Mm.
not the criticism of them. It's just what they Just
They just
can't.
don't have the money to spend on the players to help them get into Europe.
No, and with FSR, what you will get is, they've reduced it from what it was 100% to 90% to 70%. How much longer before they go, right, FSR is 50%?
Mm,
And, don't get me wrong, you should live within your means. But if your expenses are so high and at the bottom end of the scale, you're spending such a lot of money on transport, it's very difficult. If I was a professional footballer playing for Exeter, and we're playing away at the weekend against Barrow in Furness, right? Or we're playing against Hartlepool if they were in the league. From Exeter to Hartlepool's got to be, 400 odd miles, 450 miles?
yeah, yeah.
They don't fly, so they go up on a coach. Now, if you go up on a coach,
Mm,
you travel at 60 miles an hour, good luck on that one. That's 8 hours. So when you're travelling, the day before, then you've got to stay in a hotel. And then you play the game of football. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon when it's finished. You leave the ground at 6:15, 6:30 roughly. What time do you get home? Half two down in Exeter. 3:30, you're home where you live. I mean, it's not great for mental health. It's not great for physical health. It's not great for anything, really. So
yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea. And I think that that's something the FA and the Premier League really need to look at. And would it benefit England? Absolutely, because you've got players that
Mm,
are exhausted. The last Euros proved it. How many of the England players looked absolutely knackered?
yeah, yeah.
I think that would help.
Mm,
They could do the FA Cup on a Saturday. You got the weekends free for it. I just think it's better for everybody. You get
mm,
better football matches because the players are far more likely to be able to cope with the schedule. And
yeah,
more importantly, they could finish the season in England if they really wanted to. They could finish the season probably by early May, play the FA Cup final, and if a team's in Europe, an English side's in Europe in the final, they've got a couple of weeks free to get their players healthy, and then it's not such a panic for I mean nowadays the Champions League finals are bloody beginning of June, and then 2 weeks later they're playing in the Euros. What idiot designed that?
yeah.
And
It does seem a bit full on sometimes.
it is, and the thing is as well, this is the other side of this equation. If you're a big football fan, and I am, you get fed up with it all the time. The football season, when did it finish? In July.
Mm,
You had 4 weeks off. The football season's back on again. It's so condensed now. I just think
yeah.
it's overkill.
Mm,
So that's how I would do it. But and I really think that it would help clubs because a lot of these clubs they're on shoestring budgets. And
yeah. I mean, like you say, traveling overnight stays, whatever it may be, coaches. It's a lot of money for a lot of these clubs.
well, when you look at the cricket in comparison, you've got 18 professional teams playing cricket. They don't have a national cricket cup. You don't see the minor counties as a group, not as individual counties, playing in like a cricket FA Cup. You just get the teams playing each other in various different ways, guises, whichever you like to call it. But they've had in the past southern, they call it Midwestern Wales, yeah, and then northern, and they have these groups. Okay, yes, it might be detrimental to Middlesex because they're not very good at 2020, but the travel, if you look at the home, that one, it's Middlesex, Surrey, Essex, Kent, Sussex, and Hampshire. So the furthest trip's about 70, 80, 90 miles.
Mm,
It's not very far. It's a couple of hours on a coach, yeah? That's reasonable. When they play county cricket, you can get, obviously, Hampshire could be playing against Durham, absolutely. But they're gone for 4 days. So it's and they only play away every few weeks. They don't, when you look at the whole course of the summer, they only have a small batch of away games where they really have to make a lot of effort. Very few. So it's a bit different in the cricket, but the county cricket, for a lot of people, that's a bit of a chore because they find it a bit boring. It doesn't bring a lot of money in either. Most of the clubs survive on what they get from one-day cricket. Most of the non outside of Premier League football clubs survive on FA Cup. Not maybe the Championship, but the FA Cup games in the lower leagues. That's what they thrive for it. You ask any Division Two side, FA Cup. We hope we get Man United away. Not because Man United aren't very good, because they get 75,000 people there, and that money, that they can live on that money for the rest of the season. So I just think they need to help more, and they're not doing it.
No, no, they're
Not sure how
not.
we got into this, by the
Well, it's
way.
a very interesting concept. We'll see if any of the viewers out there have any thoughts when they listen to what you have to say,
It's more
and see if
regional.
they have an
I'm just trying
opinion.
to think of it. I'm thinking positively for fans. Yes, it's great to go to great stadiums. Of course, it is absolutely. But
Mm.
at the end of the day, you know, when you go 200 miles for a game of football and your team plays absolute cack, and you come back, you think, God, why did I bother?
Or the weather's atrocious. Yeah.
When you go to a game and your team wins a game from out of nowhere, like the Bears did yesterday in the NFL, 17-0 down, won 24-17. That's great to be there. It's a great experience, but they're few and far between from most sides if they're really honest. So
Mm.
I think I'd change it.
So you said you watched the NFL yesterday, so tell us about that.
Well, obviously it's the first day of the season, so I think you really never know what you're gonna get. They did have a couple of fixtures on Thursday night and Friday night. Um, so the Chiefs won, of course. They're always everyone's favourites because they have got a most fantastic side and they probably have got the best quarterback in the country. Um,
Mm.
I think the thing is with the way the NFL's run, obviously every club's on the salary cap, so they've all got the same wage structure. So it's actually quite interesting. A lot of people would be really surprised to know how much a certain type of player in the NFL gets as a wage. I must admit, I was
They get most of their money from sponsorship, isn't it?
yeah, but we're talking about so players' wages. They have to the wages that the players get have to be within a cap that comes with every single club. So usually, the person who earns the most money is the quarterback.
Right.
Um, because he's like the captain of the team on the field, basically. So his salary is normally the one that's the biggest. And then you'll probably get a wide receiver who is very good, who will get a very good salary as well. Normally, the guy that the quarterback would probably first look to pass the ball to when he's got a chance to score. But I was really surprised that some of the players on special teams who just work on special teams, their wages are really quite poor. And another thing that surprised me was running backs. I didn't think that for a guy who gets his head beaten up, they don't get a lot of money either. So
No.
when I say a lot of money, somebody earning £1 million a year to me is astronomical. But for a professional sportsman at the top level at a massive club, to maybe earn
Mm.
$2 million a year, risking his life, isn't what I would call a massive sum of money. But
Mm.
some of the players, of course, the quarterback might be on 8 or 10 million a year, and that's salary. We're not talking about sponsorship.
Endorsements and
I mean,
sponsorship.
endorsements
Yeah.
exactly where Colgate say to him, mate, if you advertise this toothpaste on TV, we'll give you $2 million. If you wear this style shirt or jeans or whatever or trainers, we'll give you two. It's not like that. I'm not talking about that money. I'm talking about purely
Yeah.
wages. So
Mm.
but the NFL, I assume this season we're going to have Well, I think the Chiefs obviously going to be hard to beat. The Bills will be hard to beat. The Ravens will be hard to beat. Those three sides, 49ers probably as well. Um, for me, it's the same thing like supporting Spurs. Supporting the Bears is a bit of a. It's a bit of it's a love and a passion, um, where we're not very successful very often. That's a bit like Tottenham, really. Um, but I never stop supporting them. Yesterday was a good result, but they've got pretty well a brand new team, but a lot better than I think it was last year. And I think that the extra two or three wins this season, we'll have a positive season. I don't know if we get better than about 9-8 or 10-7, but if they get that,
Mm.
um, that's a step forwards. I think next year they could be the real deal. Next year, I think they could be a sort of 12, 13, maybe 13-3, 13-4 at home. That gives them a chance to actually get somewhere. So
Yeah.
we'll see this year. It's all about
Okay.
doing the right thing.
Okay. Well, you'll
But that's
definitely
the
keep us
NFL.
updated.
We've got the cricket that we've glossed over. England lost the Test match today.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
First one they lost all summer. I've got to say, um, how can I be polite without being too rude? England played like a bunch of cretins in the first innings. You can't be 280 for three and all out for 325. They came in and just thought, well, this is easy beating Sri Lanka. Um, that was bad enough that they were 70 runs short, 80 runs short. They then decided, much against any common sense, I can't for the life of me fathom why, when bad light came on the second day, they persisted in bowling part-time spinners who were going at 4 or 5 and over for no reason whatsoever. This is a 5-day test match, not a 3-day game.
Mm.
Sorry, mate, bad light, we'll go off. I know it's annoying for the fans. I get that. I accept that. But then the moron that decides that test matches in September is a good idea wasn't me.
Mm.
Again, they're dictated to by a stupid schedule. All the teams are, but more so because the people that run cricket are also utterly clueless. I'm not talking about the management for the England cricket team. I'm talking about the powers above. This
Right.
country, you have to be realistic. The only two decent months of the year in this country are July and August. That's obvious, yeah. The
Mm.
warmest 2 months usually, the best 2 months in terms of weather, dryness. Let's say dryness. So if you've got a test series, which is you've got 9 weeks, July and August, 62 days, you've got 9 weeks effectively. You can play 7 test matches in 9 weeks quite easily. You play one team who's very good for 4 tests or 5 tests, and you play another one for 2. Or you have two lots of 3 tests against smaller nations and a one-off test against Ireland or Scotland or somebody like that. You have enough of a break after 3 test matches, which has basically taken just over 2 weeks. You go, right, you've got the next 10 days off, and then we start with this team for 3 weeks. And then you have a week off, and then you play a one-off test match against a lesser opposition, and you do it all in July and August. The best 2 months. Why they're starting at 11 o'clock in the morning in September, God only knows. Yeah,
Mm.
it doesn't make sense. And so England stayed on with bad light, but gave 100 runs away needlessly, and they've ended up losing a test match that would have never happened in Australia. It's just bad management on the pitch, and it's stupidity. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if you want to entertain the crowd by losing, then that's not really what I would suggest. So that's what they've done. And to be fair to Sri Lanka, they played very, very well and took advantage of England's hospitality and stupidity. That was the
Wow. So when will they be playing next?
next Test series in the winter is Pakistan. So another Test nation that really and truthfully they've been struggling. Normally they're batsman friendly wickets. Usually, I think the biggest sort of positive for England, if there is one, Joe Root will become England's leading all-time run scorer probably in the next Test match. He only needs 71 runs to go past Alistair Cook. He's only about 900 runs away now, just over 900 runs away from being second on the all-time list. So over the course of the winter with Pakistan, and then I would expect by the time we get to this time next year that he'll be definitely second. And if he wants to play another 2 or 3 years, he'd probably catch Sachin Tendulkar, which is incredible, really. So he'll be the
Wow.
greatest batsman. He's young enough. He's 34. He'll be 37, really, by the time he would be somewhere near Sachin's record, I would imagine. You know, he'd probably
Okay.
have 2,500 runs, something like that. At that rate, he's going to be on 15,000 odd. With a home year to come, he could easily catch him. So, you know,
Wow.
massive, I think. And as long as he wants to play, then obviously he'll be picked because he's far and away the best batsman England have.
Mm. Okay.
As-
Well, you'll definitely keep us updated with what's going on with the cricket.
Well,
When is
they're
when
now
is
playing Australia in the 2020s next week.
okay.
Yeah.
So you
I mean, I've no idea why. You know,
oh
you've got, you've got Sri Lanka who's here, and they're going to play 2020s with Australia, I think. I don't. Again,
go
this is what
figure.
I mean. They're filling in these blunt. I mean, to me, look, when England goes to Australia for the Ashes next year, they should be playing 1 or 2 warm-up matches. Then they should play the 2020 series or the 50 over series, and then do the Test matches so that they've all had some practice. But they go
Mm,
to Australia at the end of November, having not played cricket since the middle of September. They don't play October. They go in the middle of November, so it's basically 2 months without cricket. They have one Mickey Mouse match against themselves, and then they have a Test match. So what chance do they have of winning the Ashes when they start off already half cocked? There's no point.
bizarre. Very
Yeah,
bizarre.
you know, the best Test series of all cricket is England against Australia. Why not make it do the right thing? Again, it's
Mm,
organisation. And instead of sitting here bowing down to the BCCI in India and turn around and say, look, this is England. We were the ones that invented the bloody game. The convicts over in Australia are our biggest rivals, right? From now on, we play 5-match series with Australia. And when we go to Australia, we're going to be there for 2 months. And in that 2 months,
mm,
we play 5 test matches with a break in the middle. And we play our one-dayers and our 50 over games, all those games prior to the series. So we're actually out here playing at the right time. Or maybe the 2020 first of all, the one day is at the end. But you can't have no cricket before you play a test match and expect to beat one of the hardest teams in the world away from home. And that's what they're
mm.
trying to do. It's like Spurs going to Man City every week and going, well, we'll start a goal down and see if we beat you. Why would you do that?
That's ridiculous.
That's how it is. It's such bad organisation. And I hate to say it being half German, we're very organised. But it is so pathetic the way that the people at the top run things. It's just ridiculous.
Shocking. Yeah.
I'm
Oh
having a good
dear.
old moan today, aren't I?
Yeah.
This was because I was
Well,
62 last week, and I've realised that I should moan more than I do.
yeah, we don't mind a good moan on here. Just quickly, going back to the NFL, when are the next set of games for the NFL?
There's a game tonight. 49ers are playing tonight. They're at, they're actually at home. They're playing the New York Jets. I've got to be honest with you now. I think the Jets might surprise a lot of teams this year. They've been absolute cack for about 3 years. Yeah, maybe longer if you're a Jets fan. But I think they might. I'm not saying they'll win tonight because the Niners are a good side, but I think they might. They might finish the season sort of 50-50, maybe 8 wins, something like that. Whereas normally they get
Mm,
2. So
Okay.
I'm kind of going that they'll go. So I'm kind of nailing. I'm saying the same thing with the Bears. So I think I'll be reasonable. I think they'll both get at least 7 wins this season. Now
Okay.
I hope I'm right. I quite like the Jets. I prefer the Jets to the Giants. I got to be honest. Um, there aren't many
So
teams. Go on.
tonight's the next big game.
Yeah, and then of course, well, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are not the best team in the world, they're obviously playing at Spurs later on this winter or autumn winter, and at Wembley. Um, yeah, so certain things I can't really divulge at the moment about that one. But I wish I could. I wish I had
Right.
tickets because it's privileged information, and I mustn't say things because if it gets back to somebody who told me, they could have the right needle with me, and I don't want to do that. But needless to say, that
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL changes across Europe.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Interesting. Very
well, if you
interesting.
think about it, they play in London, don't they? 4 games a year now.
Mm.
They play in Munich. That's another one. They're talking of playing somewhere else as well. So they are
So you
thinking of
think what
expanding.
for next season then? Not this season, surely.
Uh, no, they've still got fixtures for this season because they have to play 2 at Spurs and 2 at Wembley. I think
Mm.
maybe not so much this year. Well, it won't be this year. Maybe not so much next year, but quite likely 2026. That could be on the horizon. Yeah, it definitely could be. So we could have a team in England,
Wow. Okay.
which
Interesting. Very
yeah,
interesting.
if we do, I think it's sort of on the horizon. If I'm honest, so.
Wow. Well, if that can be shared at any time in the future, we will make sure that we do share it
Well,
with
yeah,
our listeners
when it's a bit
first.
more, mm,
Set in stone.
yeah, but also a bit more when it's when I'm not treading on someone else's toes.
Got it.
We'll leave it. We'll
Got
leave it
it.
like that on that one.
Okay. Right. So we will. When are we back on?
Well, that's a good question because with your shift trying to save people's lives, obviously, I know we have a lot of giggles, and you have got a very serious job. I mean, I have a serious job trying not to get people killed on the road, but you have one trying to protect kids and stuff, and that's very, very serious, obviously, in what you do.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
I'm
So 2 weeks' time is the 23rd.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me that day because my friend's over in
Okay.
France and I could be anywhere that day. I have not even a clue. I could be in Manchester,
Oh. 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 Up there. Up
which,
there. Okay.
yeah, and I don't know. Having said that, um, we have to look at your rotor more than mine.
Yeah. Well, the 23rd would have been the next one. So, um, if you can't do the 23rd, the next one after that would have been the 7th of October. So
Which
that
is not
one
a problem
works
for
for
me.
me.
It doesn't work for you?
Yeah, 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 it works for
Oh,
me.
no, that's fine for me. So that's next month. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I can't. I'm sorry about that, but I've got so much stuff on, and I have to try and fit it all in. And up until the end of this month, I'm kind of kiboshed, if I'm honest.
No, that's fine. So next show will be 7th of October. There'll be so much to talk about. Lots of football, lots of basketball, more
England playing
NFL and
football.
cricket. Yeah, yeah, all of the above. So, um, yeah, so there'll be a big show to catch up on.
Have we got any Scottish fans that watch us?
Oh, we'll have to ask possibly. Any
Well,
Scottish
they don't watch
fans,
any football in Scotland, do they?
eh?
They don't watch football in
Uh,
Scotland, do they?
occasionally, I'm sure.
No, they're absolute rubbish. I just looked at their record. The last 14 matches, they've won one.
Yeah,
I think that
but they
was
still
against
have a lot
Gibraltar. I
of
think they beat Gibraltar. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of
I think the over
supporters.
65 team the over 60s team I know they could beat Gibraltar. So yeah, they're not very good. But
Well,
anyway,
no,
I shouldn't rib them
they
too
need
much
to
because
they
the
need a bit
Spurs
of
have got to
work.
play Rangers in the Europa League, so we never know.
Oh,
I
okay.
know.
Mm. All right. So we will see everybody on the 7th of August.
No,
Um, 7th of October.
By the way, are you wearing a dressing gown? Have you got to work yet?
No, look,
Oh, right.
it's my top. It's a top. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Okay, have a good evening.
Yeah, you take care. God bless. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.